The 2022-2023 academic year was arguably the most important and successful year the Center for Civic Engagement has had since its founding in the fall of 2018. Highlights include OU hosted 3 candidate debates for statewide and federal offices on campus during the 2022 election cycle, with the gubernatorial general election debate garnering OU over $1 million in advertising exposure value. We also continue to build our reputation as a convener of conversations, hosting multiple programs and events that brought over 5,000 participants to our events in person and virtually. We continued our work in student election engagement and received national recognition for this work. The center partnered with organizations on and off campus that brought greater community awareness to OU and expanded our reach into the community, including the All-In Democracy Challenge, the Campus Election Engagement Project, the Campus Vote Project, and others focused on student election engagement. The Office of the Mayor in Rochester Hills, the Rochester Regional Chamber, and the Great Lakes Civility Project were all great partners in the 2022-2023 academic year. And of course, we worked with a number of OU schools, departments, and offices. The debate work began in May when we hosted Haley Stevens and Andy Levin for a debate in the 11th Congressional District primary. It was moderated by Emily Lawler from the Detroit Free Press and Chad Livingood from the Detroit News. This drew an in-person audience of more than 200 and was viewed online via the OU YouTube site by more than 3,000 people. Not originally planned for OU as the venue, WXYZ called OU at the last minute to help in a crisis when weather was going to disrupt their GOP gubernatorial primary debate. They came to us knowing that OU has a reputation for doing this work. A great team effort accomplished this in roughly 2 days. In October, just before the general election, we again worked with Channel 7 and the other Scripps TV stations in Michigan. Gretchen Whitmer and Tudor Dixon visited campus for a debate that was aired in every media market in the state. OU was the only campus in Michigan to host a debate for the governor's office or any statewide office. This debate garnered OU more than $1 million in exposure value as the OU logo was on screen for the entire hour throughout the state. The importance of bringing civility to public discourse has been a focus of the center's work from the beginning. To this end, we continued our strong relationship with the Great Lakes Civility Project, partnering again for multiple programs. The first was specifically for the athletics department's Crucial Conversations series. It brought 40-plus second-year student athletes together to hear from Nolan Finley and Stephen Henderson about how to have critical conversations and how these can and should go beyond political discussions. The first Civility Day saw over 150 attendees gather to engage on issues of civility with Nolan Finley, Stephen Henderson, U.S. Representatives Debbie Dingell and Fred Upton, OU Senior Vice President for Student Affairs and Chief Diversity Officer Glenn McIntosh, as well as local faith leaders. In May, the CCE began a fruitful partnership with OU's Galileo Institute for Teacher Leadership. We held multiple meetings with representatives from school districts as part of a series of workshops titled Engaging Your Stakeholders and Restoring Civility During Uncertain Times. A major focus was helping school leaders create an atmosphere where civil discussions can take place around even divisive issues. This was accomplished by the CCE and Galileo coming together to offer expertise to these stakeholder groups. The culmination of this series was Civility Day at OU in October. Turning the workshops into action, the center director began working with Farmington schools on a series of community conversations that the district's Community Engagement Committee wanted to host with stakeholders in their district. The director worked with Farmington schools to plan their sessions and facilitated each of the sessions, January, March, and May of 2023. Our students are getting into the act as well. 2 OU students, after conversations with the director, penned an op-ed in the Detroit News on civility, respectful dialogue, and maintaining a friendship despite political differences. They are models to be proud of, and we hope others copy. We are also being recognized for this focus on civility. With civility as a stated priority, OU stands out as an example for others to follow. One of the main elements of the center's work is to make OU known as a convener of conversations about issues of public importance. We continued working towards that goal this year with several events that tackled important issues through standalone events and our Civic Engagement Office Hours series. In the wake of the U.S. Supreme Court's Dobbs decision, we welcomed 2 nationally renowned speakers on the topic of abortion rights. After Roe, the Constitution, Rights, Policy, and Politics was a Lincoln-Douglas debate, a format specifically chosen for its civil nature. That event had 150 attendees and more than 300 additional views on YouTube. We also worked with the School of Nursing to bring legislatures and nearly 100 nurses together for a conversation about the future of nursing. This also featured an advocacy training session for all attendees. Of course, a focus was tone and being civil as advocates. We continued our partnership with the Office of Alumni Engagement and the Office of Professional and Continuing Education to bring campus and community our Civic Engagement Office Hours series. Started during COVID-19 as a virtual event, we brought back in-person options this year by utilizing the Oakland Center's Winter Garden area where attendees gathered, and we also capture passersby at lunchtime. We also utilize technology to offer these in a hybrid format. We continue to take on important and timely topics by highlighting OU faculty experts from the School of Business Administration, the School of Health Sciences, the School of Engineering and Computer Science, and the Departments of Political Science and History. We held 6 separate discussions about issues like the state and national economy, sustainability, the 2022 elections, the war in Ukraine, and the surge of anti-Semitism on campuses. These brought together nearly 400 participants live and another 150 total views on YouTube after the sessions. Taking our expertise into the community is also important. To this end, the director gave 14 public lectures for organizations in the region, including the Birmingham chapter of the American Association of University Women, the Consular Corps of Michigan, Jewish Family Services, and the Senior Men's Club of Grosse Pointe. The director also regularly provided political commentary and analysis for local and national media organizations. According to OU Media Relations, this led to stories in hundreds of newspaper articles. The director did nearly 90 TV and radio interviews during the academic year. Media Relations also provided dollar value estimates for a portion of the radio and TV interviews, which totaled over $500,000 in value to the university. In addition to the political analysis, the CCE is now looked to as a trusted source for facilitation and moderation. Examples include Farmington School's Community Conversations, 2022 Rochester Regional Chamber Candidate Forum, Rochester Hills Mayor Brian Barnett's Mayor's Business Council, and the Rochester Regional Chamber Community Outlook Breakfast. Since its inception, the CCE has always kept an eye on the importance of providing high-quality, non-biased, fundamental information that students can use to be active members of their democratic society. Often, this is centered on voter registration and voter turnout. This center continued to act as the main point of contact for external, nonprofit partner organizations who work in this space, including the All in Democracy Challenge, the Campus Election Engagement Project, and the Campus Vote Project. The CCE wrote and executed OU's 2022 Democratic Engagement Action Plan required for participation in the All in Democracy Challenge. Based on this work in 2022, OU received a number of awards for our planning and implementation of election engagement activities. OU was named to Washington Monthly's list of best colleges for student voting based on our work in 2022, a designation only 230 schools received out of 850 that were considered. OU was also recognized as a most engaged campus by All In based on our planning for 2022. In addition, OU was named a voter-friendly campus by the Campus Vote Project based on our planning and work in 2022. This is a designation we have earned for 3 election cycles in a row. Moreover, OU continued our tradition of having CVP fellows on campus. These are students who assist the CCE with voter engagement work and are paid by the Campus Vote Project for their work throughout the year. All in all, the 2022-2023 academic year was exceptional for the Center for Civic Engagement. Plans are already being made to grow and build on this success in the coming years.